Hello everyone, this video is going to go over calculator strategies that we can use for multiple choice exponent questions. Now it's really important that we recognize these strategies because whether we know what we're doing or don't, these can help us make sure we get the correct answer every single time. So in the first question it says the expression parentheses x squared minus 1 to the negative 2/3 power is equivalent to 1. And the key thing is that you notice the important word equivalent. Now, synonyms for equivalent is rewritten or simplify. Anytime you see any of those three words, you could use the strategy I'm about to show you, because what these three words mean is that the answer and the question are equal. And if two things are equal, that means they will have the same graph and the same table of values, which allows us to use our calculator. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to take the entire expression in the question and you're going to put it in y1. So we have parentheses x squared minus 1 to the negative is on the bottom, alpha y equals for a fraction, 2/3. That is the question, and our answer should have the same graph and the same table. So we're going to take all of these answer choices and we're going to put them in the calculator. Now be very careful. If they have parentheses, you have parentheses. If yours does not look exactly like what's on the paper, then you might be changing the question and therefore get it wrong. Okay, for the second one, we have the cubed root. Remember that the cubed root is under the math button, and you could choose choice 4, or if you have any other root, like the 5th root or the 7th root, you would choose choice 5 and type in the number that you want. So we have the cubed root, parentheses, x squared minus 1. And then make sure the exponent, see how it's under the radical? Make sure your exponent is under the radical as well. Pause the video, take the minute to plug in all your answer choices, and make sure that you can actually do this on your own. You don't want to get to the quiz or the test and then realize you forgot how to press these buttons. So take the time to do it. Okay, so I took my calculator, I plugged in all of the answer choices, and notice how each choice is associated with the color? We're just going to either graph it or check out the tables to see which one matches. If you go with graphing, you're going to want to go to Zoom Standard. That's Zoom 6 to make sure you're looking at a good graph. Now the blue is your original. What color looks exactly like the original, the first one graphed? Looks like the black one overlapped. So the black one was choice 3, or sorry, it was Y3. Y3 was actually choice 2. So that means choice 2 is equivalent because it has the same graph as the question. Now, if you went to the table, you can see that in Y1 and Y3, you have equivalent Y values, meaning they have the same table. So sometimes looking at the graph is a bit harder, and looking at the table, seeing the numbers there, much easier sometimes. You get to choose which one you want to do. Also notice how I'm writing same graph, same table. I'm writing what Y1, Y2, Y3, Y4, Y5 is. That is your work on your homework. So for example, 2. This one is a bit different. And the reason why it's different is, well, can you see how the first one had one variable? It only had an x. And in the second one, you have 2 variables. You have a and b. The issue is we can only plug one variable into y equals. So anytime you have more than one variable, the strategy goes out the window and you need an alternate strategy. when you have multiple variables, you are going to choose numbers. But it's really important that you don't choose anything 1 and below. Choose 3, 4, 5. I don't care what you choose. Don't choose 1, 0, -1, or whatnot. You want to go with larger numbers. So, for example, I'm going to let A be 3 and B be 4 because I feel like it. So what that means is I'm going to now rewrite this question with 3s and 4s. So I have 3 squared, that's A. B is going to be 4 negative cubed. A is 3 negative 4. B is 4 squared. And what we're going to do is we are going to put this in the calculator. So I have alpha y equals, if it starts with a fraction, you should have a fraction. Notice how I use parentheses. They don't matter all the time, but sometimes they do. So when they actually do matter, it's when dealing with plugging in negative numbers, but just always do it that way you're safe. Is that a -4? Yep. And make sure you hit the right arrow button to get out of the exponent, and B is 4. Okay, so I took the original question, I plugged in my numbers that I chose, and I got 729 over 1,024. Now the keyword is equivalent, right? So this is now our goal. And we are going to see which one is equivalent to that fraction. Meaning, we're going to go through all of these, and now we are going to plug in 3 and 4 into all of them. So 3, -2, 4 is B, -1. We're going to try it out. 3 to the -2nd power, get out of the exponent. 4 to the -1. And that is a decimal, that's not a fraction. So let's go to y equals, ooh, didn't mean to do that. I meant to go to math, choose fraction. And this is 1 over 36, which is not the same as what we started with. So, not cool, not the answer. Now we're going to go to the next one. And the next one is a to the 6th over b to the 5th. So we are going to rewrite that as a is 3 to the 6th, b is 4 to the 5th. Alpha y equals parentheses 3 to the 6th over parentheses 4 to the 5th. And this one is 729 over 1,024. Now this is exactly what we wanted because this is equivalent to what the question was, meaning we now found our correct answer and we are done. Clearly though, this can be very time consuming. I got lucky, it was the second answer. So sometimes when doing these problems, you want to make sure maybe you could cross something out beforehand. Like, for example, in the first one, did you have to plug all of them in the calculator? Maybe not really. If you notice, the negative exponent means you will have a fractional answer. So you want to use a blend of your knowledge and these calculator strategies. The steps are written for you on the side. Now try some on your